Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our webinar for lunchtime. So if you're enjoying lunch and joining us, welcome. By all means, go ahead and have your lunch. We can't see you, but we can hear you if you have your questions ready. So I want to thank everybody who's joining us here on Zoom, and I already see some of you jumping on Facebook. So we're gonna give people maybe about 30 more seconds to hop on. And again, we're here on Zoom and just a couple of housekeeping reminders. All of our webinars that we've already had are on Facebook. So if you missed any of them, you can go back and view them and share them with your students or other family members. They're also uploaded to our website, uab.edu/families, under the communications tab for 2025 webinars. So again, join us. You will be able to send us your questions through the Q&A section here or through the comment section on Facebook. And that's why I'll be looking sideways to see if there's any questions coming up. I want to thank again all of you for being here and on Facebook. And I also want to thank our presenter for today, Laura Tall, who's going to tell us about the Collat School of Business, everything your student will experience if your student is considering business, things that you need to know to support your student as they navigate their college experience, especially in the College of Business. So thank you, Laura, and I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you. So welcome families to the Collat School of Business at UAB. My name is Laura Toll, and I'm the Director of Advising and Student Success here in Collat. I've been in the Collat School of Business for about 15 years, and overall at UAB, I've been here about 20 years. So I love working with students. I enjoy getting up every day and coming to work, and so I'm very passionate about the things that I'm going to talk to you about. So I look forward to any questions you have and being able to share this information with you all. So we like to think of having business in the real world here in the Collat School of Business. So outside my window, I've got University Boulevard, but on the other side of the building where we have all of our classrooms, your students are going to be looking out at the city of Birmingham and all that it has to offer. So we have an engaging learning environment here. They will not need to, go off to another city or somewhere to do an internship or to gain any experience. We have that right here within the walls and outside of our walls. So we've got a lot of faculty who come from industry. We feel like that is really important for the classroom, that knowledge that's being brought into the classroom. And so we have a great opportunity for your students here to really kind of integrate business into their college education. So we have 9 business majors. You can see that undeclared business is an option. It is not a major. A student cannot graduate in undeclared business, but they can have that designation if they need some time to try to figure out what it is that they're really interested in, the direction that they want to go. So as you can see, we have accounting, finance, marketing, industrial distribution, economics, management, human resource management, information systems, and entrepreneurship. So there's lots of options there for your students to choose from. We want them to feel comfortable, if they come in to us and they think, well, I want to be this major, and they're just so confident about it. But then they get into some of our classes and they start learning about something that they maybe didn't know they were going to be interested in. We will provide the resources here in the Collat School of Business, and I work with undeclared business students, and so we really try to dig in and figure out what is their skill set, what is their interest, what do they have a passion for. We want them to follow those things, not necessarily just the money, because we know that they will do better and they will be more successful in a field where they have a better skill set, where they are passionate about what they're doing, where it lines up with their values. And so those are the things that we're looking at. And when they do those things, they can be successful in their career and in the field they decide to go into. So we do have lots of options. We want them to come in and feel comfortable exploring, looking around. This fall and every fall, we have a major and student organization fair. So we will have out in our big commons area in the building, we will have all of our majors set up, meaning that we will have our major advisors, some faculty and some current students, and the student organizations that kind of match those majors. They will be set up in a format where students can go around and talk to lots of people, get lots of different perspectives on the different majors and what that looks like. We also bring in recent alumni from those majors so that they can talk about, okay, this was my experience in college and now this is my experience in my field, and what that might look like for your students. So we try to give them every opportunity to make sure that they are finding the best fit for them. We also have business minors. I won't read out all of these, but you can kind of see that some of them are the majors just in a minor form, and some are different. And these are a supplement to their degree here at UAB. So a minor is not required for you to graduate with a major in business. But some students will take the opportunity to supplement. So if there's a specific area that they want to go into within the major that they have chosen, they might choose a minor that is going to kind of give them that leg up, or that gives them an extra skill set that's going to bring them to the top of the stack when employers are looking at them. So we like to use these as, if there's just an area that they're not going to get that they have a large interest in, they can minor in that. If it's, again, not the best fit for their major, but they just want some experience in that area, or as a supplement to kind of give them a leg up when they're looking for that job when they first graduate. So again, not required, but it is something that they have an opportunity to do. I will say we have, starting this fall, we have a new business curriculum. And so that was intended to get more into what employers are looking for from our students. And so they have room, though, to include a minor or a certificate where they didn't have a lot of room for that before. So we've got a lot of options. Some things have opened up for students so that they can explore different areas and see what might be best for them and their trajectory. So this is our team of advisors. So you can see here that Miss Daphne England, she has management majors, and then she also has entrepreneurship, last names M through Z. So if that is your student, if your student falls in this area, they're going to have Miss England. We have Mr. Gary Applewhite. So he advises our human resources management major, information systems, and then entrepreneurship, last names A through L. We have Miss Kristen Craig with industrial distribution, Mr. Luke Hansen with marketing and economics, Mr. Chris Smith with finance, Miss Jessica Smith with accounting, and then I have undeclared business students. And so we are here, I can say that this entire team, we are here to help our students be the most successful that they can be while they are here in the Collat School of Business at UAB. So we want your students to really reach out to us, get to know us, and just make sure that they're getting, forming that relationship with their advisor. There are times where, there will be a scholarship that comes across our desk, and someone will say, well, I've got this scholarship. It's really kind of specific to this or that. I was unable to find anyone. Do you have any students that you could suggest for this? If we don't know your student, we can't kind of pull them out of our memory if we don't know who they are. So we want to get to know your students so that we kind of know what it is they're looking for, what their goals are, so that we can best help them while they're here at UAB. Okay, we have a lot of leaders here in the Collat School of Business. This is a very small list compared to the opportunities that we have, but you'll see some things on here. I am going to point out a couple of these. Students in the honors program can, of course, be in the business honors program, but we also have a lot of students who are not in the honors program at the university level that then their junior and senior year will be in the Collat School of Business honors program. So that is an opportunity. If they have a 3.5 and above, they will get an invitation at the beginning of their junior year. That program starts the second half of their junior year. And so we just like to make students aware of this opportunity to know that even if they decided not to do honors or they didn't get into honors, coming into UAB, they still have that opportunity to do business honors. You'll see the green and gold funds listed there. So it sounds nice, but it really is a great experience for our students. So up on the third floor of our building, we have a trading lab. We have the finance trading lab. And so our Green and Gold Fund student organization, which is advised by one of our finance faculty, they meet every Monday night and they are we have Bloomberg terminals that they log into. They're up there doing research all the time, but they're investing. And so they started with a gift of $500,000 many years ago. And they have grown that. They decide where to invest. They meet every Monday to make that discussion. They do presentations to each other. They're divided up into sectors, energy sector, agriculture sector. They're divided up into the different sectors and they do presentations so that they can decide where they're going to invest. And so money that comes off the top of that goes to student scholarships, but also they've grown, with that coming off the top, they've also grown that fund. I think they're around 700,000 now. So it is a great, and it's real money, great experience. They go to competitions in New York to compete with their fund, and they just have really done a great job. And it's something that employers like to see on a resume. So even if students are not a finance major, they can participate in that. They have a CMO, they have a CFO, they have a CIO, they've got all of the different officers that can contribute in different ways to that organization. You'll also see some other opportunities listed there. Again, this is not a comprehensive list, but this is just a few of the things. There are going to be student organizations such as the Society for Human Resource Management. There are organizations that will be kind of geared towards a specific major, but you do not have to be that major to be involved in that student organization. So it's kind of one of those things like a minor or a certificate. If there's an area that your student might be interested in, but maybe that's not going to be their major, they have the opportunity to get involved with a student organization that might help them get some experience. We've got a lot of student organizations that bring different employers and people in the field into their meetings. And so it is a great networking opportunity and just a great way to learn more about what's going on, what's current in the field, and what are these employers looking for? What can they expect when they graduate? So we definitely want our students to get involved. I like to cover the GPA requirements because these numbers right here, we have this all written out. We need a 2.0 overall, a 2.0 UAB, a 2.0 business, and a 2.0 major. So these can all look very different. A student could have a 4.0 business major, but they could have a 2.5 UAB GPA. I'm sorry, business GPA and a 2.5 UAB GPA. So this is something that the advisors are going to be working on with your student just to make sure that we are keeping that 2.0. So I'm sure you know, but a 2.0 is a C average. So we always tell students, if you ever feel like you're falling below a C or you make a below a C on an assignment, we want your student to visit their professor, talk about, maybe they scored lower on a test than they expected. Visit the professor, ask, can we review this together? Can I ask you questions about where, are there some areas where I may have, missed something? Maybe I thought I understood this concept and it doesn't look like I do. We want your students to really start early if grades fall, we want them to start early on trying to correct that. because we always tell students, nothing can be done at the end of the semester once grades have posted or when it's finals week. The work on the GPA, if things start to suffer, the work starts immediately. So we try to tell students, don't bury your head in the sand. So if you're having those conversations with your students, just make sure that they're being real kind of honest with themselves about what their grades look like and what that means, that they're not just kind of saying, oh, I'll bring that up without any change in behavior. And we can talk to them about that. If we need to talk to them as advisors about time management, or you'll see in a moment, we have some help with study skills. We want to be able to help them with that. There's been a lot of students lately that really I've just talked about time management and what does that look like? And do you need to sit down and study for 3 hours at a time? The answer to that is no. There probably needs to be a short break every once in a while so that you can kind of break away and then come back and refocus. So we talk about those types of things with students. And we want to help them think through the best process for them so that they can perform at their best. Just a note here, we want to make sure that students don't retake anything that they've already had. So if they have any credit coming in from maybe a community college dual enrollment, things like that, AP credit, AP scores are just now going to come in. I haven't seen any posted yet, but hopefully there will be soon. We don't want them to take anything that they have already successfully received credit for. So if they ever feel like, or if you look at their schedule and you say, have you not already taken that class? Mistakes can be made. And so we want to make sure that your student is asking questions. Just, say, hey, I feel like I've taken this. Can we talk about, review what I've had and what I've received credit for? We're always happy to do that. So for your students' first semester, if they are coming in as a freshman, it's going to look different for transfer students, and that is going to look very different depending on where that transfer student is coming in. So students coming in as a freshman, we want them to be in a math class. They will take, or they should have taken, or will very soon take if they haven't been to orientation, they will take a math placement assessment. That math placement assessment is pretty good usually at putting students where they really need to be. And so your student may start in Math 098. That is totally fine. The business math requirement is Math 110. So if they start in Math 098, they're then going to take Math 110. If they place into Math 110, they're going to take Math 110 and then they'll be finished with that math sequence. So that is math. We want them, unless they come in with Math 110 credit or something that's kind of equivalent, we want them to be in the math class the first semester. Same thing with English. So English placement is based on an assessment. And so we want students to be taking that assessment and placed into either English 096 and 106 or English 101. And so if they start in 101, they'll then take English Comp 2 their second semester. If they start in 096, 106, then they'll take 097, 107 their second semester. And both of those are English Comp 1 and English Comp 2. We have a first year experience, and that is Business 101. So their first semester here, we want them in that class. That is going to give them an overview of all of our business majors, business terminology. It also includes things like time management and study skills and things like that. So their cohort will all be in that class together. And so they'll get to know a lot of their fellow business majors in that class. You can see that there might not be a whole lot of other business in their first semester. So we put them all in there together so that they can get to know each other. And then you'll see that there are 2 other classes where they have some options there. Each of those sections has a lot of options, so I won't review those, but we've got 5 classes if they're wanting to take full 15 hours. 12 hours is full-time, so if they decide to do 12 hours, we would take one of those bottom 2 classes away. Okay, something that you are going to see your student working on over the next few years that they are with us. And this is something new to the Collat School of Business. Not new for everyone. Some people have been doing this on their own, but this is really going to be integrated into many of our classes so that it is something that they are working on starting with Business 101 and then throughout their time here in Collat. So we want students to walk away with a portfolio. So as you can see, that's a collection of students' work, achievements, personal reflections. We want this portfolio to showcase their best and brightest, what they have to offer. So it may include things like a personal statement, samples of their work. So if they do write a paper for a class and they do really well on that, that is something that they might want to post in their portfolio. Any awards or certificates that they receive, they would want to put that there. Extracurricular activities, volunteer work, service work, those types of things. Any photos or media. So if they're in marketing, they may want to post some of their digital pieces that they create. And letters of recommendation. So if they can get letters of recommendation from employers or faculty, this is a place that they would want to post those. So we wanted to highlight their strengths and passions. This will be something that will give employers just that more robust picture about what this student can do and what type of employee they might be. And it helps set them apart from other applicants that might be applying from other schools. So we really want students, again, to start on this in Business 101 and then to keep track of it and just, you forget. So if you go back, if any of you have ever tried to update your resume or things like that, sometimes you forget the things that you've done and the accomplishments that you have. And so we want this to be kind of this living document that students can just add to as they do things. And it's not something that they sit down and at the end their senior year, it takes, 5 days to create. It's just something that they've been working on all along and they have this product that they can present at the end of their time here. Okay, we have a Collat tutoring lab. So this Collat tutoring lab is walk-ins or by appointment. So if your student feels that they need help, once or twice a week and they want to set that up, maybe they find a tutor that they fit really well with, they understand better, they can set up a weekly appointment. Or if they walk out of class and go, man, I need to maybe review this concept, they can walk right down here and visit the tutoring lab and get help with that before it kind of leaves their brain. So we are open in the tutoring lab Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then on Fridays from 10 to 3. It is located on the first floor inside of the Welcome Center. There's also an entrance from the Commons. Those people just come in through the Welcome Center doors. So if you've been in our building, you walk in the front door behind the Blaze statue and the Welcome Center is right there on your left. That is also the tutoring lab. So we want your students to be familiar with that. We want them to feel like they can come in and ask for help whenever they need it. We do have peer tutors. So it's students who have taken the class and made an A in that class. They have been recommended by their professors to be tutors. And so your student can also think about if there's something that they really loved and did really well in, they could be a tutor as well one day. So we want to make sure that they are, getting the help that they need in these classes sooner rather than later. You can see there that we have some classes. I have some classes listed. Business 202 is an accounting class. That is the accounting class that every major will take. We then have specifically AC 200, that's accounting 200 and accounting 201. That is within the accounting major now. Formerly, those were for everyone, no matter what the major was, but now those are in the accounting major. We also tutor for Math 098, 102, 105, and 110. 102 and 105 are on there because we still have students from years past. You will notice that I said earlier we require Math 098, 110. Your incoming students, that's what they would be focused on. We have BUS 214 and 215, so that is our statistics sequence. So we offer tutoring for that. Something new this fall, we will also be doing supplemental instruction for those statistics courses. We're going to pilot that, see how that goes, and then we might expand it to some of these other subjects as well. We have Business 302, which is finance. And then for all majors, not for the finance major, but for all majors will take that course. And then others by special request, and I mean that as, there may be some classes that our tutors have taken that they could tutor in, but we don't necessarily post that. So if a student ever is feeling like they need some help in a class that's not listed, they can certainly come into the tutoring lab and we'll see if we can pair them with somebody that can help. If we can't help, if we don't have anybody that can help specifically with the subject matter, they can also tutor in study skills. And so that is an option for students as well. Maybe just kind of taking the material from a class and saying, okay, how am I going to look at this? How can I look at this differently? How can I kind of pair some things together so that I can study better, or really how to attack a particular class. So that is our Collat tutoring lab. Again, we want students sooner rather than later to visit. It is much easier to tutor earlier in the semester than it is the week of finals when students are kind of in a panic. Okay, so we have a career center just for our Collat students. We are one of 2 schools on campus that have our own career center. But we have 3 full-time staff in there to help our business students be the most successful that they can be in finding that job and having that when they graduate. So you'll see that we have a fall and a spring business career fair. So it is just for business students. The employers that are coming, and there's 75 plus at each one of those fairs. So it's always in September, always in February. We want students from day one. I mean, as a freshman, we want them coming to that career fair and starting to network with employers and getting practice at that. A lot of students are very nervous about walking into a career fair with 75 employers and their tables and having to walk up to those tables and introduce themselves and just kind of getting used to the idea of what kind of conversation to have and how to introduce themselves. So the week before each of these career fairs, the Career Center will have a prep week. And so they will practice. They have built an elevator, so they will practice their elevator pitch. They can have their resume reviewed. They will talk about what to expect at a career fair and how to attack the career fair. So the Career Center helps the students prepare, and then we want them to come and show up so that they can start making those connections with employers. And I tell students all the time, I want you to walk up, and even as a freshman, first semester freshman, walk up, introduce yourself, give your elevator pitch and say, I want to know what are you looking for when you're hiring? Because those are the things that I want to do while I'm here. Do you want to see that I have involvement, that I can keep my GPA up and be involved in a student organization? Is there a specific class or set of classes that you want out of this major? That sort of thing. So employers will tell students, this is what we're looking for. This is how you're going to bring your resume to the top of the stack. And so they can't get that information unless they go talk to the employers. So we want to have students coming as early as possible to those and come to every single one. And when employers start to talk to students, a couple of times, they get to know them. And then they form those relationships where someone says, okay, now you're at the point where you can do an internship with us. Let me have your resume. They do employer city tours. So I think, I can't remember, I think they may be trying to go to Nashville. But they've been to several cities, Huntsville, they went to Mobile, where they do city tours. And so they'll take students for a day, they load up on a bus, and they go around to different employers in another city and just see, what it's like. What are those employers looking for? What does it look like to work there? Is that a place that your student might be interested in working? So they have these opportunities to see some places other than Birmingham. There's some other things listed here, and you can take a look at those. Walk-in Wednesdays, they can walk in, have their resume looked at, ask questions, get some help, employer chats. just about every week of the semester, there will be an employer in our commons area, and the Career Center hosts them. And that is networking for students. It's their opportunity to find out more about that employer and to start networking with that employer. We do have a biz thrift career closet. So business students can come into our career closet in the Career Center, and we have men's and women's clothing, and they can choose up to 3 items per academic year. So if that's a suit and shoes, or maybe they just need slacks and a belt, or whatever it is, we have that opportunity for them to come shop, and it's free. So we really want them to take advantage of this. I love when students come in before the career prep week, and they come in and they start picking out their clothes, and they know that they're going to be able to walk into that career fair and look their best. So we definitely want students to take advantage of that. We also have some other things: accounting connections, trivia night, that resume building, networking, and other things. If you want to see what all the Career Center is doing, you can follow them on Instagram at UAB Biz Career. They do some great things throughout the year. It's really fun to see all the things that they're doing. They have some career peer mentors that work in their office. And so those are current students that are keeping everything trendy and on Instagram. And then you'll see Handshake there. So Handshake is that career management platform where all the jobs, internships, everything gets posted. So that's something that your students are going to want to get registered in, and make sure that they keep an eye on that. So if they need an on-campus job, if they need an internship, if when they're eventually looking for full-time, that's where all of those job postings go. So also, I want to mention the Career Center is the first thing you see when you walk in our front door, just right there on your right-hand side. It's the first thing. And when we were building this building, that was very intentional. Our administration felt that it was really important to have that front and center, and to be the first thing that students see when they walk in the door, because they have so much to offer, and we want students to take advantage of it. Another thing, take advantage of it early and often, not waiting until the last week of senior year to walk in and say, hey, I need a job. So that is something that students should be working on the entire time that they're here. Okay, I want to thank you all and see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Laura. That was great information. And I know families are really excited about all the possibilities that are available through the Collat Business School. And along the lines of the undeclared business, not because it's not a major, but when students come in undeclared, especially in business, the question is along the lines of how soon does a student need to declare or choose the major?
That's a great question. So UAB says that you need to declare by the time you reach 60 hours, which would be about 2 years in if you're, coming in as a freshman and not with a whole lot of credit. I really work with students to try to have some that kind of get to that. Every once in a while, I have one that gets to that point where it's, I say we really have to, we're just going to have to dig in until we figure this out. But working on that with students from the time they come in as undeclared business, usually within that first year, students are able to make that decision. They must make it by the time they reach 60 hours, but hopefully with resources that we have, conversations that we have, classes that we put them in to kind of give them a look at some different areas, hopefully they're making that choice before they hit that 60-hour mark.
Great, thank you. I also like the fact that you said that it's important for students to get to know their advisor, because their advisor will get to know the students that they have. And if there's opportunities, advisors may say, oh, I have this great student who may be good for this. So
Yeah.
how soon will students meet with the advisor that they've been assigned to?
Great question. So students actually meet with their advisor or have a conversation with them, whether that be phone, Zoom, in person, before orientation, hopefully, because we're trying to get them registered for classes before they come to orientation. But that first, really kind of dig in meeting and start to get to know you can happen at any point. So we love when students want to come in and talk to us and let us get to know them. So they can, once they're a student, once they're, admitted and getting enrolled and everything, at that point, they have access to make an appointment with us through My Appointment in BlazerNet. And so anytime they have a question, need guidance, or just want to get to talking about all the things, look at a degree plan, anything like that, we are here to meet with them. So we hopefully are having that conversation before orientation and then after orientation, and then we will need to meet with them for sure by the time about October rolls around, because that's when we're going to be looking at spring registration. And I know that sounds early, but we will start sending out messages at the end of September, beginning of October, saying, hey, it's time to come in and meet with me. We need to kind of look at spring. That's when we can also start looking at a degree plan and what that might look like for them over the next 4 years, and kind of get that all written out for them.
You also mentioned the tutoring lab, and there's a question that has to do with, we had a presentation already by VMask, which has supplemental instruction in the tutoring center also. So if a student needs tutoring in math, I don't know what type of math this question is about, but which tutoring lab should they go to, or does it matter if it's in the freshman year?
They could go to either one. Um, you know, I would love for them to come to our tutoring lab, but the VMask has a wonderful tutoring lab as well. So either one would be fine. They might get to go ahead and know the tutors that are here, so that might be nice to make the connection. But that is a great question, because for anybody else that hasn't learned about the VMask, they tutor for lots of subjects outside of business. And so that is a great resource that your students also need to use. So really, either one is fine. It's just going to be business students tutoring them in math, and then VMask will have, it could be any major. Again, that doesn't really matter. Math is math is math. So really, either is fine.
I think the important question, or the important issue here, is when a student feels that they're having some challenges or something, to reach out for that supplemental instruction for tutoring early on. So students may usually say, yeah, I'm going to figure it out as soon as they start having any challenges. And that's why it's important we encourage families to have a conversation with the student. How is it going? There's going to be challenges, difficulties along the way. And so reminding them to seek that support early on is key. And
Yes.
so that is a great reminder for everybody on any subject.
And
And
it
then,
really just have to do with schedule. Like I said, either tutoring lab is fine. It may be that after Business 101, that's when they can come by and have a break in class, and they can come to our tutoring lab in Collat. Or it may be that they're over, in a building next to the VMask after some other class where they have a break, and that's a better, it really could be anything, any reason that they choose one or the other. But yeah, we earlier, sooner rather than later. I feel like I may have said that several times, lots of times, but it really is sooner rather than later with any of these things that we've been talking about.
yes, definitely. And then that earlier, sooner rather than later, also brings us to the Career Center, and just encouraging your student to visit the Career Center. 4 years down the road may seem like a long way, but it's better to start early and get familiarized, and go through a mock interview before they have to go through the real thing under the stress of it's next week or something. And so just get to practice and meet other people and network and just get to know other people. So I don't see any additional questions at this time. Laura, is there last minute tips or suggestions that you have for families?
No, I'm just going to repeat the same thing. Help your student just be unafraid to ask questions, to ask for help when needed, and to, earlier rather than later on any issues or challenges that come up. We have the resources here for them. They just have to reach out. So.
Awesome. And so thank you very much, Laura, for your presentation today and for joining us for this webinar. And thank you, families, also for those of you on Zoom and on Facebook. Thank you for being here. And we look forward to meeting you and for you to have a great experience at UAB. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. you can send them to families@uab.edu, and then we can send them over to the resources or to the people that may be able to give you any additional answers that you have. So thank you, Laura, for being with us today. And thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. And remember to join us on Thursday for our webinar, Student Assistance and Support, and then be on the lookout on the Family Hub for the following upcoming webinars that we will have all the way through August 14th. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.